Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It is Wednesday, April 28th, 2021. I'm here with Mike Carr. Mike is the CEO of a company called Bitterroot Resources that I follow the newsletter and I own. They're exploring for what's called nickel-copper, Conduit hosted nickel-copper PGM. They're looking in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, which is a logical place. As you'll hear, there's a mine nearby that's the same model. The reason I like this is it's a classic drill speculation. The drill phases he's done, the small one so far, he already knows he's got the right model. He knows he has a conduit. He knows he has disseminated and semi-massive sulfides. And the next go around will be looking for the massive ones. And the thing with this deposit type is they're rare. You see 2 or 3 of these, maybe a decade, get discovered. They're not easy to find because they're rare and they're small in terms of physically small, very high density. But they get a huge amount of market attention. You hit one of these things, and it's got any kind of scale to it, the kind of grades that we already know this project has potential for. You're looking at hundreds of millions of market cap. And right now, this is a company with sub 10 million market cap, trades on Vancouver, symbols BTT, OTC in the US, it's BITTF. I just think this is just classic, great drill speculation, and you can get a front row seat here in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So can you just give us we're just going to do a quick overview, Mike. I mean, what is it you're looking for? What is this deposit type all about? And what have you got so far?
Okay, we'll just jump into the slide deck here. And this is hole number 1 that was drilled last summer. We hit disseminated mineralization, which is a great sign that you're close by some massive sulfide or semi-massive sulfide, which is really what the target is. These are blebs here with pyrrhotite, pentlandite, and chalcopyrite in them. And as I said, this is indicative of being in close proximity to massive and semi-massive sulfides. We're in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, great location, near smelters, lots of infrastructure, road access, low cost exploration here. The target, as Eric said, is conduit hosted nickel copper. The emphasis on the conduit, which means these are small deposits, but they're very high grade. We're near Eagle. We're only 30 kilometers laterally from Eagle. In the Roland Lake area, sitting in a syncline of metasediments on top of Archaea and gneiss, both of which are good sources of sulfur for the magma to assimilate to precipitate out the heavy droplets of massive sulfide. This is Eagle and Eagle East. Eagle over here was discovered in 2002. Discovery hole was 85 meters of massive sulfide. Eagle East was discovered about 10 years later after following this conduit down. And the concept of a conduit is very important here. So we have in the bottom right corner of the slide, we had another magma chamber. So magma came up and then went horizontal and continued back up again. But while it's going horizontal, the sulfide droplets are settling out in basically a trap. It's like a placer gold deposit. So the geometry of these deposits is very important. Around the edges of the massive sulfide and semi-massive sulfide, you get disseminated mineralization like I was showing you in the first slide. So when you see disseminated mineralization and you understand the geometry of what it is you're testing, you can chase these massive sulfide bodies. The thinking is that the magma came up this conduit after dropping out sulfides here. There's a part of it that's eroded away, and then this is Eagle almost formed in what you might consider to be a pothole. So there's no roots underneath Eagle per se. So we think it was fed laterally, and the part that joins them is just eroded away. Our first drill hole of this year that hit mineralization hit some semi-massive sulfides at the base of the intrusion that ran very pleasant grades, over 5% nickel and 1.2 copper. Above it is disseminated mineralization, which is more sub 1% nickel, 1% copper, but within it is this rip-up clast that ran 7% nickel and 8% copper. So that tells us that we're very close to a body of massive sulfide. And if we do find it, it should have very impressive grades. We modeled the similar grades from the very first drill hole using some formulas developed by Dr. Tony Naldrit, one of the great nickel exploration geologists of our time, who passed away last year. But Tony was an advisor, and turns out he was absolutely right that this is what we hit in our rip-up class. So we know we're near something in terms of massive sulfide. This was hole 10 that was looked at, or I'm sorry, released the results on Monday. 2.3 meters at just under 1% nickel and 0.8 copper. A little bit of semi-massive sulfide here at the base. These holes are all pretty close to each other. I think we'll just go here to the cross section. So these red dots represent the 3 mineralized intervals we've drilled so far in this conduit. Hole 10, the one I just showed you, is here. Hole number 1 is behind it, and hole number 7, which was the best one of all on the southern edge, here. And these are all within about a 10-20 meter elevation range of each other. So it's very important to be at the base of the conduit where these sulfides are settling out. It seems to go, we think it goes horizontal and then turned and went vertical. There's a chance that it continues horizontally as well in this direction, and we just missed it in this hole. Here's the view from above, from about 70 meters above the base of the conduit, looking down. So there's hole 1, hole 10, and hole 7, which was our best hole. And just throwing the grades on here, we have disseminated here, disseminated with a little bit of semi-massive sulfide here, and you've got disseminated on top of a pretty good interval here of semi-massive, at least in terms of grade. So we're increasing sulfide grade and increasing sulfide content as we move south, as it appears right now. This is a ground magnetic map. So all of the drilling has been in here, in this little area. Bitterroot controls all of the ground. That's where we're showing the magnetic data here. So we started out with 40 acres. We're now up to almost 400 acres. The exciting part of this is there's hole 7, the best grade, most sulfide right here. And we have what looks like a conduit feature. It's a weak magnetic high, about 600 meters long, connecting up to another bullseye magnetic high here and another second one over here. We also have a linear feature here, which has been speculated could be another feeder zone. This magnetic signature has been modeled, and certainly a body like Eagle East, buried at about 300 meters depth, which is just a little bit deeper than what we're hitting mineralization at, can give you this kind of a response. There are multiple solutions to these modeling issues, but the mag signature here could be explained by a body of massive sulfide like Eagle East. So we're excited to step out in our next phase of drilling and drill probably 75-meter step outs from our best hole and follow this magnetic trend along, and also test this magnetic high here and this magnetic high over here. There is potential for a gap in our drilling at depth here, sort of in this direction to the north, that this conduit actually could continue a little bit in this direction, and we will test that as well. That's basically the story. That in one slide, this magnetic survey really sums it all up. You've got objects here, or a magnetic signature that is of a scale that can host, that's 1.5 million tons in Eagle East. That's almost 5 million tons in Eagle, although it's, doesn't have a large footprint in plan view. So if you bury these under 300 meters of rock, you know, these magnetic signatures are not unexpected. And in fact, they could be even closer to surface over here. This particular high here is stratigraphic sulfide pyrrhotite rich beds, which are magnetic. And but they're of no economic interest, although they are a good source of sulfur for adjoining magma conduits.
Okay. There you have it, folks. It's a straightforward story. They've already had some success with the drill, so it's not like they're not drilling to see if the models are. They already know the models are. They know they've got a conduit. They know it's got sulfides. Now it's a matter of chasing it with a drill, and they've got larger targets than they had at the start of the last program, thanks to what they know now and thanks to the mag. Like I said, these sort of deposit types, if you find one, the market reaction tends to be extreme. They have very, very high torque. Mike will be starting a 20-hole program in probably less than a month. This is a inexpensive place to drill, but as importantly, take note of the fact that all of this land that he's got, the mineral rights, those are all privately owned. So he's not dealing with this long, arduous permitting process. It's a logging area, so there's roads all over the place. And he can just pull the drill rig in and drill. And the rig's, in fact, sitting there waiting for him to drill again in 3 or 4 weeks. So Bitterroot Resources, BTT on the venture, BITTF, OTC. I follow my newsletter. Mike and I have been friends for a very long time. I own a bunch of the stock. I'm buying more in the placement that he just announced. I just think this is a great drill spec. I mean, they don't get more clean, obvious, and high torque than this. If they hit, this thing's really going to go. Thanks for coming by and giving us the update, Mike.
Thanks, Eric.